What I'm saying is, yes, we've talked about a lot of possibilities, but there's a need for us to examine the role of diplomacy and foreign policy to promoting after and Saddam. Without further ado, please help me welcome to the stage the ambassador of Namibia to Nigeria, Honorable His Excellency Humphrey Geiseb.
Thank you, moderator. I'm very thankful to join Tony and all friends, all his collaborators in the tourism industry today for this important meeting. Initially, when I hear about Walk for Love, I was not so sure because it sounded like a very far off kind of idealistic kind of project. But I felt let me come and also join other stakeholders in the tourism industry to talk a little bit also about Namibia. I know the topic is about the free trade area, but I will spend a few minutes just to talk about Namibia. Our country really has a strong connection with Nigeria, and we felt a few years back that we need to enable tourists and travelers from Nigeria to come to Namibia. So you might have heard that Air Namibia used to operate from Lagos, Accra, Lagos, a flight to Namibia. Unfortunately, it could not work out. The future for Air Namibia then was very difficult, and eventually the airline folded. It went bankrupt. All the planes were taken back. Because all along for a long time, whenever Air Namibia was in trouble, government would always come in and bail out Air Namibia, carry its obligations. But unfortunately, at one stage, government said, we can't continue bailing out Air Namibia. We have a lot of other commitments. Let us also pay attention to others. So that's how Air Namibia stopped flying to Nigeria. But you can see our commitment. We put a flight services here available for Nigerians and other travelers from West Africa to be able to fly from Accra to Lagos, Windhoek. That is no longer possible. I don't think that is the main reason why we don't get more travelers. I know there are a lot of people here who know Joseph Kafunda here. He's doing a wonderful job. He's a friend of mine. The first tour that we took from Namibia, we met Joseph in Walvis Bay, and he was then operating a boat cruise on the ocean in Walvis Bay. And after that, he left the boat cruise service to form his own company. And what Joseph is telling me is that whenever you find Nigerians willing to come to Namibia, please refer them to me, because whatever budget they have, I will be able to meet them. He calls himself a rainmaker, because he says, I will make it possible for Nigerians to come to Namibia. So he has worked with a lot of you in the industry. I think more of you know Joseph more than me, because Joseph is always working to make it possible that Nigerian tourists are going to Namibia. So I thank him for that. Even last year, Pine Awards give him an award, and he's well known. I wish that his business will grow. Actually, I was wishing he would come to Nigeria and met industry players directly, and he did it last year. So I hope he will be coming more and more and connect with many people here. So finally, I also am very happy that I'm here, that I've personally been witnessing Dayo here. I saw him last year after the election talking about about the fact that not many Nigerian leaders have documentaries filmed on them. And I felt that Dayo was saying something that applies to many countries. I also thought about Namibia, and as many of you know, the president of Namibia passed away last month in February. And during the mourning period, there were few documentaries of him that were shot 10 years ago, and they were then screening the documentaries during the mourning period, which is something that is quite helpful during those dark periods of grief, that one can at least sit and watch a documentary. which is a very important point that Dayo was making last year, that not many Nigerian leaders have documentaries filmed of them, and that was something that Nigeria needs to look into. And now he is bringing that project that I'm also looking forward to come to your studio and watch Nigeria. Unfortunately, we cannot travel a lot because of the situation in Nigeria, but personally I do go to a lot of states so that I can personally witness a lot of things. I have eaten a goat head in Enugu, which is completely different from how we eat a goat head in Namibia. And just the comparison and the life experiences that you gain from traveling and meeting and gaining new experiences is something that speaks volumes. So I think your digital studio and the work that you will do on Nigeria to showcase Nigeria throughout your studio will really help a lot. It will also inculcate that love for Nigeria for many foreigners to one day come here and physically go to those sites. So thank you for that project. So for Namibia, really, we are trying. One day we may get to the stage where we may not require visas. But right now, our visa is only 16,000 naira. In dollars, it's around $10, of course, $10 more or less. The Nigerian visa, to get a visa for Nigeria and Namibia is much more expensive. I wouldn't quote the figure. For Namibians to come here, it's much higher than what we are charging. But at the moment, we have exempted 27 countries, African countries. They are able to come to Namibia and apply for visa on arrival. So countries where we have no diplomatic presence, Mali, Burkina, Chad, Cameroon, many countries, 27 of them, they can travel straight to Namibia. When they arrive at the arrival port, they can apply for visa on arrival. So that's something we are doing. 5 years ago, there was nothing like that, but at least today it's in place. So we are trying to enable Africans, more and more Africans, to go to Namibia. With respect to Nigeria, only around 700, 800 Nigerians travel per annum to Namibia. So that number is very low. You know, the travel market here is huge, but the numbers that go to Namibia are really minimal. So our wish is that while we are here, we work with the industry to at least increase those numbers to around 2,000 or 3,000, so that we can say, okay, during our time we have tried to market Namibia to Nigerians, and while we are maybe leaving now, we can proudly say the numbers have increased. But 700, 800 at the moment, that's where we are. But we are trying our best. So we look forward and we hope the industry will help us to attract more Nigerian travelers and tourists to Namibia. Because 800 out of a potential market of maybe 10, 20 million travelers is very small. It's quite small. My main concern that I want to know from Nigerian tourist operators is, please tell us what is the main attraction that Nigerians enjoy in Namibia. Is it Etosha, where our nature park, or is it Sources Flay, or is it the dunes? But please tell us. I know with the Chinese, when I served in China, they will mainly prefer to go to Sources Flay. I've tried to talk to Nigerian tourism and tour people. Please tell us what is the main favorite attraction for Nigerians when it comes to Namibia, so that we can do more marketing around those sites that are popular. So we have a task for you, those friends of Joseph Kafunda. Please tell us the most favorite popular destination, the tourism site for Nigerians in Namibia, and we will continue work on that. So I thank you for listening on the Namibian tourism aspect. Now I will talk briefly about the African Continental Free Trade Area. We have come up with a national strategy to see what processes must be done to domesticate and embrace this free trade area. We have worked with the private sector also a lot, because we think there should be a lot of opportunities for business people under the free trade area to look at what value-added products can they sell to other African countries. it should not just be a matter of governments concluding the agreement, but actually businesses themselves must embrace this framework and come up with products that can be sold. Look, for example, between Namibia and Nigeria, there is a company in Lekki here that brings salt from Namibia. I think many of the ladies here will know a salt called Mr. Chef. If you have ever cooked with Mr. Chef, just know that salt comes from Namibia. Yeah, that is our salt. So the company brings it in bulk from Namibia. They refine it here in Lekki in the factory, package it as Mr. Chef, and sell it in Nigeria. I think about 90% of their requirement comes from Namibia, 10% comes from Brazil. So we have something that is on the tables, dining tables of Nigerians, and we are very happy that that company controls about 60% of the market. So when we talk free trade area, I think we talk more of products like that Nigerians can sit proudly in their dining rooms and consume a product from Namibia. And then they can say, this is an African product that is on our table. It's not something from somewhere. So I think our leaders have done well. They have put up this free trade area so that Africans can trade more and more between themselves. So that our largest trading partner in one country would be another African country, not a non-African country. As at the moment, most of our states, when you look at the statistics, largest trading trading partner usually would be a country outside Africa. But I think the wish and the aspirations is that we should trade more and more amongst ourselves. We have to look at the promotion of domestic industries so that they become industries that will be able to sell products to other African countries. They should not just be industries that remain domestic industries and supply local customers. The private sector really has a lot of role to play, and we will continue to work with them. Issues of fair trade and ethical business practices needs to be promoted so that we all can benefit from this trading arrangement. Finally, I think the African free trade area is something that will work towards a prosperous and united Africa that will be beneficial to its members, to its citizens. So we have embraced this African free trade area, continental free trade area, and in Namibia we are fully working with them. We have invited them recently to come and look at our customs procedures, and we think as diplomats and as citizens we should embrace this free trade area as it will really be something that will help all our countries. Yeah, I think the work is continuing in Accra to finalize all the outstanding regulations, and we can look, all of us can look forward to a better day for Africa when finally the trade really takes off between and amongst African countries. So with these few words, Tony, my Oga, the moderator, thank you very much for bringing me for this important meeting today. Thank you.